It's the 19th of January 2026. This is a brand new edition of Newsfirst Primetime News, coming to you live and direct from our Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. Bringing you tonight's bulletin for the Newsfirst team, I am Jayamal Ratnayaka.
And I'm Naveksha Gunasekara. Here are your headlines for tonight.
Newsfirst Headlines. Main sponsor.
For safety items, b2b.lk.
Parents urge President to implement proposed education reforms. Protests erupt across regions demanding continuation of education reforms. President stresses need to properly document rural economic activity. 10 of 30 presidential election promises already delivered, says Mantri.lk. New Colombo Fort Kompanya Vidya flyover handed over to the public. Mahava Anuradhapura train services temporarily suspended for maintenance.
Newsfirst Headlines. Main sponsor.
For sports items, b2b.lk.
In your top story for tonight, the Governing Council of the National Institute of Education has suspended 2 officers and placed another officer on compulsory leave. This action follows the interim recommendations issued after a preliminary investigation conducted into the controversial Grade 6 English module. In more related news, a group of parents today handed over a letter to the Presidential Secretariat urging the government to immediately implement the proposed Grade 6 module system. Before that, the group also engaged in a protest opposite the Ministry of Education.
The 2026 Grade 6 Parents Collective gathered in front of the Ministry of Education, located at Palavatta Isrupaya, staging a silent protest. They said the Grade 6 module system should be implemented without delay.
If there are issues, if there are more concerns within these modules, please come and show them to us. If there are problems we haven't seen, tell us. Everyone is talking about that one page, that single page. For months, these groups kept shouting about one page. Did anyone bother to turn the other pages? Did anyone look at how beautifully and clearly the subject content has been structured? Why do you keep pushing the wrong thing repeatedly into society instead of showing what's good? Study it properly. In the textbooks we received, the modules we have, not a single weakness has been seen. We haven't even received the English module yet. To parents who are unaware, I say educate yourselves first, then decide. Ask yourself, do you want your child stuck with the old education system or the new one designed for their future? To those who oppose this, I ask, why are you saying no? If it's about the English module, explain clearly what exactly is the problem.
We are here today. We will come tomorrow as well. We will come the day after. We will not stop. Because this is about our children. It doesn't matter if it's 1 child, 2 children, 10 or 100. We are speaking not only for our children, but for the children of the entire country. Don't play with their future. We also expect the opposition leader to understand this. This is about our children. Don't get in their way.
After nearly an hour of protesting, several parents proceeded to the Presidential Secretariat. They carried a document signed by parents requesting the immediate implementation of the proposed Grade 6 module system.
On behalf of the President, the Director General of the Presidential Public Relations Division, Mr. Gamage, spoke with us. We had a discussion with him. He explained the issues and technical challenges that occurred during the implementation of the reforms. He assured us that he will personally hand over our message to the President and obtain a positive response for us. We hope the President will give us a favourable answer soon.
Afterward, the rest of the group who had been stationed in front of the Ministry of Education also proceeded to the Presidential Secretariat, where they continued their protest. Island-wide protests were held by parents demanding the implementation of the proposed Grade 6 module. This was the protest held in Madrigiriya town.
I believe there are many issues here. Those who studied abroad, they are the ones who have a problem with this system. They are the ones saying to delay this or push it aside. But their children don't value this because they have their own advantages. The real value of this new education system is felt by poor farming communities like us. It is indeed a very good education method, and that is what we are saying.
Under the new education system, what we will produce are entrepreneurs, then inventors, then exceptional professionals. This system will help eliminate corruption in society. Our children will have the strength to stand independently. And I say this clearly, do not allow corrupt politics to crush our children's future. We don't want a generation working for 5,000 rupees while being dragged into drugs and lunch packet politics.
Another protest was held in Biyagama.
මාස 6කට 4කට කලින් ඉඳලම මේ සංශෝධනය ගැන කතා වුණා. එක එක සමිති සංගම් එකතු වෙලා ඒගොල්ලන්ට ඕන විදියට ඒගොල්ලන්ට කරන්න ඕන විදියට
We've been talking about this reform for 6 months. All unions and groups took what they needed from it and shaped it into their agenda. But mothers and fathers were never given a chance to speak. When someone comes and says the country will be divided because of this syllabus, everyone believes them. But our children should not be victims of that misinformation. This syllabus is good. In Sri Lanka, every time something good happens, someone comes and turns it back. That's why the economy collapsed. This is a great opportunity for the next generation. Change is challenging, but from these challenges come opportunities. This is one of those opportunities.
කියන්නේ ඇත්තටම අභියෝගයක්. ඒ අභියෝග වලින් තමයි අපිට අනිවාර්යම opportunity-යක් හම්බෙන්නේ. මේක හොඳ opportunity-යක්.
A protest in Kaluthara city was organized by the United Teachers Association for Education.
මේ පරණ සිලබස් එක හරහා අපේ දරුවන් ලෝකේ දකින්නේ තව අවුරුදු
With the old syllabus, our children stay stuck for another 8 years. At 35, they cannot compete in a modern technological world. This module system includes everything needed for future careers. Only a small politically motivated group, such as bankrupt parties and their factions, are opposing it. Have you seen any parents saying the module system is bad? Not a single one.
මොඩියුල ක්‍රමය එපයි කියලා ඔබතුමාලා දැක්කද?
A group of parents also protested this morning in Kurunegala city.
They want this stopped. A few people claim the modules are bad. Some speak from caste-based political agendas. But if you ask them what a module is, they don't even know. This is not a small decision. It is extremely serious. Thousands of children's futures are being derailed by a baseless protest. These people have failed to point out any real issue in the modules or the new system. The entire protest is built on a single word found in one English module.
They are trying to destroy children's education because of personal agendas. This is not the first time minor shortcomings in a curriculum have appeared.
This was the protest held in Kuliapitiya.
A small group wants the reform stopped. We ask them kindly, don't use our innocent children for political gains. Do not sacrifice children's education. Do not sacrifice their future.
Parents representing grade 6 students in the Kegol district protested in front of the Kegol Central Market.
Why do our children end up using drugs or committing crimes? Because they lack vocational education. If we had vocational training properly established, half the people in rehabilitation centers today wouldn't be there. Through vocational education, children can conquer the world. This is not political. It is for our children.
Another protest was held in Kandy today.
Our grade 6 children deserve new subjects. The syllabus from 2016 has dragged on for a decade. Why can't we move from parrot learning to creative thinking? The world is changing. Shouldn't our children be given the chance to change with it? Criticism is good, but criticizing lies is pointless.
This was the protest held in Negombo.
We don't need politics or party divisions. We only ask that the new education program be implemented in 2026 for the sake of our children's future. Please light up their lives with this new system.
Another group of parents protested in Navalapitiya.
Stopping something this important over petty political reasons sets a terrible precedent for the country.
Protests were also held this morning in Ambalangoda and Warepula, with parents urging the government not to delay the implementation of the grade 6 module system.
How will education reforms proceed following the situation that arose regarding the grade 6 module?
Education reforms will continue as planned. The Grade 1 education reform cycle will commence this year. We have an issue only with Grade 6. However, due to the concerns raised regarding the syllabus and the module, we have postponed its implementation until 2027. The remaining components of the syllabus and the modules will move forward through other established processes. Within the broader education reform framework, we are advancing several key areas, including improving infrastructure, expanding digital technology, administrative restructuring, addressing resource shortages in underdeveloped schools, and upgrading existing facilities. All these processes are interconnected. Education reform consists of 5 main components, and each of them is moving forward. A detailed investigative process is also underway. Therefore, there is no need to fear education reforms, as they will continue.
Media reported that several officials connected to the investigation had their duties suspended. Is this true?
We first appointed a committee to conduct preliminary fact-finding. Based on that report, and according to institutional regulations and disciplinary procedures, we appointed another committee to carry out the initial formal inquiry. Once that initial inquiry report is received, action can be taken accordingly. Regarding the National Institute of Education, disciplinary decisions must be made by the Council and the governing board. After the investigation report is submitted, disciplinary measures will be enforced promptly and independently in line with the required procedures.
Why was a complaint made to the Criminal Investigation Department about a conspiracy?
The manner in which this issue emerged and the way the opposition and political groups attempted to use it gave rise to legitimate suspicion. That is why a complaint was lodged. The CID will conduct its inquiries and provide us with a formal report. Based on that report, we will have the authority to take appropriate action.
Sri Lanka must formalize and document the economic activities of rural communities as a priority. President Anura Kumara Dissanayake, who also serves as the Minister in charge of digital economy, emphasized during a discussion. The meeting, conducted at the Presidential Secretariat, focused on reviewing the progress of projects initiated under the government's program to transition Sri Lanka into a cashless economy.
Comprehensive discussions were held on the progress of projects carried out under the Ministry of Digital Economy in 2025, as well as new initiatives planned for implementation under the 2026 budget proposals. Topics covered included digitalization of state institutions, expansion of QR-based transactions, establishment of a National Cloud Infrastructure Center, implementation of the National High-Speed Broadband Program, introduction of single-window digital services, rollout of the Digital Identity Project, and digitalization of fine payments. It was noted that the progress of all these initiatives was reviewed in detail. The discussion also evaluated the operations, performance, and future plans of agencies functioning under the Ministry of Digital Economy, including Sri Lanka CERT, Data Protection Authority, Telecommunications Regulatory Commission of Sri Lanka. Attention was further drawn to the current status of the GovTech institution, which was launched to support the government's digital transformation, including matters related to new recruitments and operational readiness.
The Mantri.lk website reports that incumbent President Anurukumara Dissanayake has fulfilled 10 out of his 30 key presidential election promises by November.
According to the latest update of the Anurameter, the policy promise tracker on Mantri.lk, President Anurukumara Dissanayake has completed 10 of his major 30 election promises by November 2025. Another 10 promises are currently in progress, while 9 promises show no progress. One promise has been marked as unsuccessful. This assessment tracks 30 key promises included in the 2024 presidential election manifesto and incorporates information up to the 2026 budget. The analysis was completed prior to Cyclone Ditwa. The promises monitored under the Anurameter were selected based on their high public interest and national significance. These commitments cover major policy areas such as economic reforms, governance, anti-corruption efforts, law and order, and social protection. Mantri.lk has previously monitored the manifesto commitments of former Presidents Maithripala Sirisena and Gotabaya Rajapaksa as well.
The new flyover linking Colombo Fort and Kompanya Vidya was declared open this morning. Developed under the supervision of the Road Development Authority of the Ministry of Highways, the project was completed at a total cost of 3.1 billion rupees.
The new flyover linking Colombo Fort to Kompanya Vidya was constructed with the primary objective of easing the severe traffic congestion caused by the Kompanya Vidya railway crossing. This elevated structure allows one-way traffic only and consists of 2 lanes. It spans 320 meters in length and 11 meters in width. The flyover was inaugurated under the patronage of Minister of Transport Bimal Ratnayaka and Colombo Mayor Rai Khali Baltazar. Construction began on the 21st June 2021 and was originally scheduled for completion on the 20th June 2022. However, due to the economic crisis, the contract period was extended until the 30th November 2025. As a result of the delay, the state incurred an additional cost of 1 billion rupees.
Due to the economic crisis and various other reasons, the construction of this flyover was significantly delayed. This was a bridge that should have been completed 3 years ago for 2.7 billion rupees. But now, after delays, legal payments to contractors and additional costs, it has been increased by another billion. Even so, this bridge will bring some relief. It offers a solution to the congestion in Colombo city. But we must also remind the public, this country's bankruptcy caused by theft, corruption and economic crimes carries a curse that continues even today. A project that should have been completed for 2.7 billion rupees has now cost 3.7 billion rupees. Despite all challenges, we are proud that we were finally able to complete it.
කරන්න පුළුවන්ගේම ගැන අපි සතුටු වෙනවා. දැන් අපි ටුවරිසම් ගැන කතා කරාම හැමදාම අපි කියනවා මේ නගරේ හැදෙන්න ඕනේ මේ විදිහට කියලා. එතකොට
When we talk about tourism, we always say this city must develop in the right direction. This flyover is one step, an important step. But city development is much more than bridges and roads. There are many more things we need to build. As the municipal council, we have responsibilities, but we cannot do it alone. Different ministries and institutions must work together. RDA, UDA, police, all stakeholders must unite to develop this city. That is what I want to emphasize.
From today, commuters can travel along the new flyover from Baladaksha Mawata to Chittampalam A. Gardiner Mawata.
Why has the government paid billions more than the amounts allocated for essential development work? The answer: delays in projects caused by the economic crisis. Why did this economic crisis occur? Was it because of the people of our country? No. Do you remember that in 2023, the Supreme Court ruled that decisions made between 2019 and 2022 led to the collapse of the economy and the violation of fundamental rights. The Supreme Court held that former President Gotabaya Rajapaksa, former Finance Ministers Mahinda Rajapaksa and Basil Rajapaksa, and several others were responsible for the economic crisis. A 5-judge bench led by Chief Justice Jayanta Jayasuriya also ruled that former central bank governors Ajit Niwad Cabral and Professor W.D. Lakshman, former Treasury Secretary S.R. Artigala, former Presidential Secretary P.B. Jayasundara, and the Monetary Board of the Central Bank violated fundamental human rights. One of the key reasons that pushed Sri Lanka towards bankruptcy was the implementation of extremely costly but non-productive projects. At the same time, the government abandoned projects that would have brought significant benefits to the country. One of the best examples is the sudden cancellation of the light rail transit project a few years ago. Construction was scheduled to begin in 2020 and be completed by mid-2024 with financial and technical support from the Japan International Cooperation Agency or JICA. Japan had agreed to invest $2.2 billion in the project. This project, planned under a concessionary interest rate of just 0.1%, would have brought enormous economic benefits to Sri Lanka. Despite all plans being finalized and concessionary loans already approved, the project was abruptly cancelled through a cabinet paper submitted on the 24th of September 2020 on the orders of President Gotabaya Rajapaksa. According to the Auditor General's report, Sri Lanka's unilateral cancellation of the $2.2 billion project resulted in a loss of 5.97 billion rupees already spent on it. We also cannot forget the corruption surrounding Phase 3 of the Central Expressway. Similarly, due to poor economic feasibility assessments and ad hoc decision making, the Mattala International Airport continues to incur an annual loss of 3.2 billion rupees. This is according to the Ministry of Ports and Aviation. In 2022, operational expenses amounted to 2,033 million rupees, which is 26 times higher than its operational income. These are just a few examples. So it is clear that the negative consequences of the decisions made by those responsible for bankrupting the economy are still being felt today. It is also evident from the fact that an additional 1 billion rupees had to be paid for the opening of a new bridge, yet another burden on the people. Even though these leaders now shout from the opposition benches, the people defeated them and sent them home. But the country is still suffering massive losses because of their past decisions.
Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna National Organizer and Member of Parliament Namal Rajapaksa appeared before the Hambantota Magistrates Court to formally notify the court that he would be unable to attend a scheduled court hearing.
Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna National Organizer and Member of Parliament Namal Rajapaksa informed the court through his legal team that he would be unable to be present on the 26th of January as he is scheduled to attend India's Republic Day celebrations and therefore sought permission to travel overseas on that date. After the court proceedings concluded, the MP commented to the media.
මේ ආණ්ඩුවේ නීතිය ක්‍රියාත්මක වෙන්නේ යහපාලන ආණ්ඩුවටත් එහාට ගිහිල්ලා. ආණ්ඩුවට සම්බන්ධ අයට එක විදියක් විපක්ෂයට තව විදියක්. දැන් ඔබතුමාට හම්බන්තොට අධිකරණයේ නඩු තියෙනවා. දැන් ඔබතුමාට කොළඹ ප්‍රදේශයේ මම හිතන්නේ මුල්‍ය වංචා පිළිබඳ නිරන්තරයෙන් නඩු කීපයකට මුහුණ දෙන්න සිදු වෙලා තියෙනවා. මොකද මේ තත්ත්වයට හේතුව? ඉතින් ඒ අතර මම බලන් ඉන්නවා උගන්ඩාවෙත් බිලියන 18 ගේනකම්. ඒ වගේ තමයි මේ නඩු. ඒ නිසා අපිට අධිකරණ පද්ධතිය කෙරෙහි දැඩි විශ්වාසයක් තියෙනවා. පොලිසිය කෙරෙහි මේ රටේ ජනතාවට දිනෙන් දින විශ්වාසය දිදවැ. ඒකට හේතුව මේ ආණ්ඩුව මේ පොලිසිය සහ පොලිස් සේවය සම්පූර්ණයෙන් දේශපාලනීකරණය කරනවා. පොලිස් නිලධාරියයි ගෞරවය කෙලසනවා. ඒ වගේම තමයි ඉතින් රංගිත මහත්තයා දාපු නඩු 19ක්ම තමයි මට තියෙන්නේ මේ අන්නකුමාර මහත්තයා දාලා නැහැ.
A large stone suspected to be a gemstone has been discovered in the Deltotavat area of Galaha, Gampola.
Following the landslides triggered by Cyclone Ditwa, the Sri Muttumari Amman Kovil in the Deltotavat area in Galaha and its surroundings were severely affected. Residents believe that this stone may have moved to its current position near the Kovil as a result of the landslide. The Galaha police have now secured the area and officials from the Gem and Jewellery Authority have examined the stone. An officer from the authority stated that a detailed report on the stone's composition will be released within the next 2 days.
මේ ගලේ තියෙන්නේ සංගුතිය හරියට පාෂාණ වර්ගයේ මොකක්ද කියලා කියන්නේ අපේ ජංගම ලැබ් එකක් තියෙනවා. ඒක හෝ අනිත් දවස් දෙක ඇතුළත මෙතන අරගෙන ඇවිල්ලා ඒ හරහා මේ මාතෘකාව පරීක්ෂණයක් කරලා මේක මොකක්ද මේ ගලේ ප්‍රභේදයෙන් වල සියලු විස්තරයක් අපි ලබා දෙනවා.
News First people.
For garden tools, b2b.lk.
Welcome back to the news. In more local news, train operations between Mahava and Anuradhapura have been temporarily suspended from today.
Train operations between Mahava and Anuradhapura were halted due to repair and renovation work being carried out at several locations along the Northern Railway line. During this period, trains will continue to operate from Colombo to Mahava and separately from Anuradhapura to Jaffna and Kankasanture. Accordingly, the Yal Devi train operated from Anuradhapura to Kankasanture at 6 a.m. today, and the Yal Rani train ran from Kankasanture to Anuradhapura also at 6 a.m. today. Our correspondent reports that the maintenance work is expected to take approximately 2 months, according to the Railway Department. Meanwhile, Sri Lanka Railways announced that train services up to Anuradhapura will also be suspended from the 26th of this month. In the meantime, several train journeys suspended earlier due to adverse weather conditions will resume from tomorrow. Starting tomorrow, the Colombo-Trincomalee night mail train will be back in operation. The Pulatisi Intercity Express from Colombo to Batiklo is also scheduled to resume daily operations from tomorrow. Additionally, Sri Lanka Railways announced that the Colombo-Batiklo Udayadevi Express will also be reintroduced from tomorrow.
Galle has been named as one of the world's most romantic places for 2026.
TripAdvisor has unveiled its 2026 Traveller's Choice Best of the Best Honeymoon Destinations, a list shaped entirely by real traveller reviews gathered over a one-year period. And this year, Sri Lanka has earned a coveted spot among global heavyweights. Ranked number 5, Galle stands proudly among some of the world's most iconic romantic escapes, marking a major recognition for Sri Lanka's tourism resurgence. TripAdvisor's rankings are driven by the quality and quantity of travel experiences, capturing what newlyweds truly loved about each destination, from beaches and boutique hotels to food, culture and unforgettable landscapes. The world's top 10 honeymoon destinations for 2026 include Bali, Indonesia, Mauritius, Maldives, St. Lucia, Galle, Sri Lanka, Hue, Vietnam, Napa Valley, California, Positano, Italy, Watamu, Kenya and Antigua. Described as a surprise entry by many travel enthusiasts, Galle has earned its place through its unique blend of heritage, charm and coastal beauty. For Sri Lanka, this recognition comes at a time when the country is actively rebuilding and re-energizing its tourism brand.
Day 16 of the second phase of the LOLC Divisavia You, Me, Our Nation social welfare program was carried out today, focusing schools in the Kandy and Nuwara districts. During this phase, 200 schools damaged by Cyclone Ditwa are being repaired.
The LOLC Divisavya You Me Our Nation social initiative consists of 3 stages. Under the first stage, essential items including dry rations were distributed over a period of 10 days to families whose homes were completely destroyed by Cyclone Ditwa. The second stage began with the goal of renovating 200 damaged schools. This phase will operate across 3 provinces and 6 districts over the coming days. Today, renovated buildings at Carlbeck Tamil School in the Nuwara district and Hadassah Central College in the Kandy district, both affected by the recent disaster conditions, were officially handed over to the students. Additionally, a renovated building at Memoli Tamil School in Kotmale was handed over to the students this afternoon. The LOLC Divisavya social welfare program is dedicated wholeheartedly to supporting the people of our nation.
Prime Minister Harini Amarasuriya left for Switzerland to attend the World Economic Forum.
Sri Lankan Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya embarked on an official tour to Switzerland this morning, marking a significant diplomatic and economic engagement for Sri Lanka as she attends the 56th annual meeting of the World Economic Forum. The high-profile global summit will take place from today until the 23rd of January in Davos Klosters, bringing together more than 3,000 world leaders, including heads of state, CEOs of major multinational corporations, leading policymakers and pioneers in technological innovation. According to officials, Prime Minister Amarasuriya is scheduled to participate in several key sessions focused on global economic resilience, sustainable development and the role of emerging economies in shaping the next decade of growth.
Human Rights Watch said that the Sri Lankan government's proposed counter-terrorism legislation includes numerous provisions similar to the current abusive law and risks facilitating the same kind of repression.
Human Rights Watch said that the Sri Lanka government's proposed counter-terrorism legislation does not meet benchmarks set out by the United Nations counter-terrorism expert or comply with human rights obligations and commitments that Sri Lanka made to European Union to benefit from trade arrangements under the Generalized System of Preferences or GSP+. The Protection of the State from Terrorism Act, published by the Ministry of Justice in December 2025, would replace the Draconian Prevention of Terrorism Act, which has facilitated extensive violations, including arbitrary detention and torture since it was introduced in 1979. In 2017, Sri Lanka committed to replace the PTA with human rights respecting legislation as a condition for the EU to reinstate GSP+, but successive Sri Lankan governments have failed to comply. In his party's 2024 election manifesto, President Anurukumara Dissanayake campaigned for the abolition of oppressive acts, including the Prevention of Terrorism Act, and ensuring civil rights of people in all parts of the country. HRW says the proposed law falls short of meeting that pledge.
Minister of Plantation and Community Infrastructure Samantha Widyarathna says the daily wage of estate workers has been increased by 400 rupees from January, taking the new daily rate to 1,750 rupees.
January salaries will be paid on the 10th February. From that date, the daily wage of estate workers will increase by 400 rupees. That is 200 rupees from the estate companies and 200 rupees from the government. This is the first time in Sri Lanka's history that the government has contributed 200 rupees towards the salaries of estate workers. A worker who works 10 days will earn an extra 4,000 rupees, while 25 days of work will bring 10,000 rupees more than before.
The minister made this statement while launching development work on the Spring Valley Demodara Road in Padula.
Denmark's Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen has said, quote, Europe won't be blackmailed by Donald Trump's tariff threats over Greenland.
The US president has said he will impose a new 10% levy on goods from 8 allied nations if they oppose his proposed takeover of the autonomous Danish territory. Frederiksen and other European leaders issued a joint statement on Sunday saying the tariffs risked undermining transatlantic relations and risk a dangerous downward spiral. Trump insists Greenland is critical for US security and has not ruled out taking it by force, a move that has drawn widespread criticism. The new tariffs would be imposed on Denmark, Finland, France, Germany, the Netherlands, Norway, Sweden and the UK. Trump has said an initial 10% tariff would come into force on 1st of February on any and all goods sent to the US, but could rise to 25% in June. In their joint statement, the leaders of those 8 countries reiterated their full solidarity with the Kingdom of Denmark and the people of Greenland.
At least 39 people have died in a train collision in southern Spain and dozens more have been injured in the country's worst rail crash in more than a decade.
Harrowing accounts from survivors and rescuers were emerging after 2 high-speed trains collided in southern Spain, killing at least 39 people and injuring dozens of others in the country's deadliest train crash since at least 2013. Authorities said the 2 trains collided at around 7:45 p.m. local time on Sunday in Ademuz, near the city of Cordoba, along the main high-speed rail line connecting southern Spain with Madrid, the country's capital. The rear cars of a northbound train travelling to Madrid from Malaga on the country's southern coast derailed and veered onto the adjacent track for still unknown reasons. The derailed carriages then hit an oncoming southbound train operated by Spain's national rail company Renfe that had departed from Madrid and was heading for the southern city of Huelva, west of Seville. The train's private operating company said around 300 passengers were on board its train at the time of the crash. Renfe has not said how many passengers the second train was carrying.
Japan's Prime Minister Sanae Takichi has said she will dissolve parliament on Friday and call a general election to seek voter backing for her spending plans and other policies.
Japan's Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi will dissolve parliament on Friday, paving the way for an early election on the 8th of February that she hopes will translate her strong public polling into a big majority in the lower house. The country's first female leader and her cabinet have enjoyed high public support since taking office last October, but her party lags behind in polls and the move is risky. It's Japan's second general election in as many years and will test appetite for her plans to boost public spending when cost of living is top of voters' minds. Having been elected as Prime Minister by lawmakers on the 21st of October, Takaichi is now seeking a public mandate in the House of Representatives, the more powerful house in Japan.
Up next is Sports Roundup.
Malinda Pushpakumara of Baduraliya CC crossed the prestigious 1000 first-class wicket milestone today. He reached the landmark during the Interclub 3-day tournament, dismissing Pasindu Surya Bandara in the match against Moore Sports Club. Malinda becomes the fourth Sri Lankan cricketer to surpass the 1000 wicket mark, joining legendary names Muthaya Muralidharan, Rangana Herath and Dinuk Hettiarachchi. Sri Lanka's rising table tennis star Tavi Samaravira struck gold in the very first international tournament of the year. Competing in the Bahrain World Youth Contender, Tavi clinched the gold medal in the under-11 category. Sri Lankan motorsport prodigy Yavan David secured 7th place in the Taupo Round 2 of the 2026 Oceania Open Formula 3 Championship in New Zealand. Earlier, he qualified third in the time trials, showcasing his pace among an international field of drivers from over 10 countries. The Oceania F3 Championship serves as a crucial pre-season training series ahead of the 2026 Formula 3 World Championship.
Before we wrap tonight's bulletin, in news from the Under-19 Cricket World Cup, Sri Lanka beat Ireland by 106 runs a short while ago in their second match of the group stages in Namibia earlier this evening. And with this victory, they have qualified for the semi-finals after winning both their encounters in Group A. And that's a wrap of Primetime News for tonight.
Thank you for watching.
Good night.